Hi, I'm Ryan. I play bass and sing in the Outfield Clovers.
I'm John. I do the guitar and also sing.
We did meet in high school. That is a true fact. I met him at Strings 1. So we had, in Noonan, we have this building called the CEC. So basically, instead of having 3 shitty strings classes in all the high schools in the county, they had 1. So you'd have to take a bus at like 6 o'clock in the morning and drive 20 minutes down the road to go to the CEC. So that's where I met him. And then I met a drummer who's in Japan right now. I met him at a jazz band at Northgate. So we were playing like 25 or 6 to 4 by like Chicago together.
And I did a little digging. We did some digging. And you guys used to be called the Book Club Band?
Yes, we used to be called.
Book Club Band era.
That was like when it was our little high school band, and we didn't realize. We just thought we were going to play like Nirvana covers, like with the boys. And we didn't realize until we tried to release music that there's like 20 book club bands on Spotify.
Serious?
Yeah, and there's one in Atlanta. There's another band called The Book Club in Atlanta. So we decided for like consistency and like having our own image, you know, it'd be better to have something completely unique. Yeah. Books go crazy.
Actually, I don't read books at all. So I didn't like the name.
Where did the name come from in your guys' logo?
So the logo, we literally just paid a dude on Fiverr. We gave him the modern baseball like dog logo, yes. the one with the sunglasses, and it was like, just do this but different. I wish I had like a cool artsy story, but I can't draw at all. It captures the vibe, and the rabbit's iconic. Yeah. I want a name for it, but it's iconic, bro. But the name, we were trying to come up with something sports related because Midwest emo, and we wanted to do something like kind of floral related. So I was just kind of mashing 2 things together, throwing it into a blender, because we like the idea of like having a 1-word name, but there's just so many words and there's so many people on Spotify that you really couldn't find one word that was cool that wasn't already taken. I was just thinking of the outfield and how when I was like a kid in like Pee Wee baseball, I would get stuck out there because that's where they put the players that were shitty was in the outfield. And I remembered I would look on the ground and try to find a 4-leaf clover instead of actually paying attention to the game. So that's how I came up with the name.
I know you guys played your first Masquerade show, was it February?
Yeah, back in February.
So how did it feel to like go from, oh, we're playing smaller shows to all of a sudden, hey, we're playing the Masquerade?
It was a big jump. Especially that show, it was weird because they made us the headliner. So we were like, awesome, we're playing at the Masquerade. Probably gonna open. And then we were like on the website, it was our faces, and we were like in the big room. And it was like,
it was
all right, we're doing it.
Yeah, that's how it is.
It was an awesome show.
It was dope. Sometimes that's how it is for us, because we made this one stupid reel on Instagram that got like 1 million views once, and we got like 1,000 followers from that one video once. So like sometimes we'll get asked to headline for shows that we really shouldn't be headlining. Like I'm not complaining, it's cool. It was a big jump. There's a lot of cool venues we played. There's with Smith's, obviously, it's very important for us. So Smith's Old Bar in Atlanta has this open mic every week. It used to be on Monday nights, but now it's on Tuesdays. And for like 6 months while we were all still in high school, we would go to the open mic and stay up at Smith's till 10. And then drive back to Noonan, and then wake up to go to class. It was only 2 songs. So shout out my parents for driving us. My dad in his Ram truck, his big Dodge Ram.
Back in record time tonight.
Yeah, we're gonna get back good. We drove up there every week, and then we met this dude named Davis, who was really cool, and he went to Georgia Tech and told us about this community of students called the Georgia Tech Musical Network, right? So it's like, I guess it's a club. I haven't really asked them about their history too much, but it's literally called the Georgia Tech Musical Network, and they have a Discord server for their open mics. So they have open mics every Thursday, and I like infiltrated their Discord, even though I'm not a student, and would just figure out when the open mic was and just randomly show up. And that's how we got our first gig. Was they do this thing called Couchella every year. Yeah. And we played it when we were still the book club band. That was like one of the few shows in Atlanta that we played as the book club. And that was a very big show for us because we we played with Big Yellow, which you guys also interviewed, and they introduced us to our friends Golden Habits, which they're really dope, and they got us to open for them at Smith's. And we actually had to like tell them, like, hey, by the way, can you put on the flyer the Outfield Clovers because we're about to change our name. But that was what all started, was the Smith's Bar open mic. Then I met the Georgia Tech people, and then we got to play a show actually at Smith's from that. Dude, Smith's feels like home to me, at least, because like I used to go there every week and eat the same burger, which it's like it's an average burger, but it tastes different. Like I always say,
it's a great burger.
It's great.
We love
Smith's Burger. I've always said if you put 10 burgers in front of me, and like I took a bite out of every one, I feel like I could figure out the Smith's one. 1 out of 10, dude.
8.5.
It's solid. That's a solid one. It's good. Like it isn't like gourmet. Like it isn't trying to be fancy, but like it's one of my favorites. Yeah. But yeah, we've played both rooms. We played the music room, which is 300, which is crazy. And we're playing again. We're playing the 100 this weekend on the 12th, which is also my 21st birthday. So it's about to be crazy, bro. My goal was to have my first legal drink afterwards, not before the show. I told my parents and Jonathan that it'd be after the show. 21st birthday song release show at Smith's. It's gonna go crazy.
Speaking of just continuing to play more and more shows, I know you guys are just announced opening up for a festival in Texas.
Oh yeah. I think it's Springboard. I want to say Springboard, but basically, my dad helps with the booking, and every now and then he'll just like have a few Bud Lights and randomly sign us up for festivals. And so he signed us up for this festival like 6 months ago. Just casually did it and didn't think about it. And this is before we knew James was going to be gone. And then he randomly one day was like, so I signed you up for this festival and you actually got it. And you guys should probably go do it. We had to convince one of our fill-in drummers to drive 12 hours with us, even though his first show with us is literally this weekend. So his second show with us is going to be in Dallas.
We love Ethan.
Shout out Ethan Voss. But yeah, he's a homie. He's like a super fan. It's a great opportunity, especially like the bigger shows like that. You never know if you're going to be back there. So you really got to like savor the moment. Every time we play out of state, like we played Tennessee and Florida before, like every time I'm there, I'm like, this could be the last time we play this state. So like I try to really embrace it, especially Dallas. It's really, I don't think I'm ever going to do a one-off show in Dallas again. It would have to be like a whole tour. And I'm not going to drive 12 hours there and 12 hours back for one show probably often. It's kind of like a conference also, like in the day, like a music business conference, and then a festival at night. So we're going to get badges and be able to go like talk to like record people and stuff during the day. Like I couldn't tell if it was our vibe, but then they had, yeah, the Wonder Years. They had the guitarist from Wonder Years was in like their promotional video. He's like, it's great for bands. And I was like, dude, I know that band.
Do you guys have like in the future, you think you'll ever tour further to the East Coast or even going out to the West Coast?
Man,
we hope to. We're gonna plan like a closer tour sooner. But
yeah, I'm trying to figure it out. It's really, I kind of feel bad trying to book out of state because especially at this level, you're basically just asking for a local band to help you, you know? But it would be really cool to actually get to play in the Midwest. So I'm trying to figure that out. I want to try to do something in the spring. Just try to get as many shows as I can and just see what happens. Because it would be our first time trying to book multiple shows. Like, I've kind of got a handle on how to book in Atlanta. Like, I know the booking agents and stuff, but I don't. Like, that's the thing. Like, you got to go completely out of your element to play somewhere else, you know?
I know y'all opened for Sad Park and Yungatita, the Masquerade, along with Indiana Joe, and they're Cali bands. Yeah. How did that feel to, like, open up for them?
I talked to them about how it was like to get signed to Pure Noise and what it's like to be on a record label. And I don't even know if that's a move or when that's a move. I asked them if you reach out to them or if they reach out to you. And they said basically they got all their music recorded and then they reached out to a record label. So kind of like record labels help you like market more than actually fund the recording now, I guess. It was cool to like kind of learn how people did what you're trying to do, because like it's kind of difficult when you're like in class at like a music school and you're talking to your professor who played music in the 70s, and they're like, we turned in cassettes and we sent our demos by mail, you know. So it's really cool to meet somebody that's like more like kind of in the same era that we're in, and figure out how they got to the point they're at, you know.
So would you say that a lot of the bands and the networking in the community that you're like growing in has helped you in who you guys are and what you guys want to do in the future?
For sure. I think one of the things that I try to like tell people when they're starting out, like a lot of my friends are like, how do I book shows? What venues do I hit up? Getting shows is not really about the venues. It's about the bands and the community you're in. Like most of the shows we get are just, we get hit up by other bands. Like Shake Awake hit us up for our first Masquerade show. And then I already talked about Golden Habit sending us up for Smiths. Bummer Hill hit us up for their album release show at the Masquerade. And then, yeah, so it's mostly just about knowing the bands in the scene. And then it's fun to put together bills with like your friends, basically. So it's really not about emailing venues, but it's about like the community that you're in.
Speaking of your guys' new song that you got released out, what are your guys' thoughts on it? Like, what was it like pulling it all together?
Dude, it's funny because we wrote that song over a year ago because it just took that long to get the songs recorded. So it's really weird. I haven't been in the mindset of that song for a while. Mostly our process, depending on who's singing, we usually will just write our part and then write the words and then show the structure to the band. Like I don't tell Jonathan how to play the guitar part and I don't tell James how to play the drums. So we really kind of collaborate with our instruments. So, and then sometimes they'll add parts. James has a really good eye for like the structure. Like he's really cool with coming up with cool synchronized hits. And then I'm words mostly. Shout out words. But it's really cool to like finally have these songs out that like my friends have been coming to the shows and listening to for a year. They're gonna like finally be able to hear it.
What are you trying to convey with this song?
Convey? Dude, it's so funny that you're speaking about this song, this artistic song, where it's literally just me being sad that a girl doesn't like me. Like, what am I trying to convey? I don't know how to talk to girls.
I was upset.
She liked the Fantastic Mr. Fox movie, and I also liked that movie. So that's why it's called Wes Anderson. Very deep thinking. Yeah, that's how it is. I watched Fantastic Mr. Fox, and then my friend Nolan, he walked up to me after a show, and he started talking about all the Wes Anderson movies. And I was like, fuck, I've only seen the Fox one. So before this song came out, I watched literally all 15 of his movies. So I could talk about even the Netflix short films I've watched. So like I could talk about any of the Wes Anderson movies. On one of our latest posts, I actually did like a ranking of all of them in the description.
Yes.
So there's an official Outfield Clovers ranking of all the movies. But yeah, that's just it. I'm not just pretentious with music. I'm also pretentious with film, you know?
Are there any of the rest of your songs Wes Anderson inspired, or is it just this one specifically?
It's just that one. We have one named Kubrick Stairs. So it's Stanley Kubrick. I want to try to get one about all my favorite directors. I'm really struggling on the Quentin Tarantino. Every time I think of something funny with him, I just think of Feet. And I don't want it to be named after Feet. That's weird. No Feet song.
Just call it No Feet Song.
No Feet song. That's a good one. That's a banger.
What are some like main bands and artists that you pull from and inspiration?
You got that down.
Man, it really changes all the time. I mean, for me, it's a lot of American football. Like, I know there's a lot of Mom Jeans and modern baseball in there for him.
Yeah, I love modern baseball.
Max Seal. Like, I've been listening to a lot of Origami Angel recently. Their new album is incredible. Citizen, man, but yeah, I won't be able to name them all.
Yeah.
That's all off the top of my head.
We played with Trash and Harrison Gordon. That was like our biggest show, like people wise. Yeah. It was a 250 cap room. It was 529, and it sold out. Like you couldn't walk. So that was dope. That was probably, and I really like Trash. So that was like a big moment for me to be able to open for them.
Who would be like your biggest dream collaboration?
If we could like If Kurt Cobain could be back alive. No. Yeah.
I mean, dead or alive. That works.
Dead or alive.
Yeah.
Yeah. Let me think. I'm going to say a weird one. Two, Stevie Wonder would be crazy.
Okay.
Like, I'm thinking outside of the Midwest Emo box.
Yeah, go for it.
And then Olde, however you pronounce her name, secretly love her music. Like, don't tell any of the homies. Bewitched, perfect album. Also, John Mayer would be cool. That's also
That'd be stunning.
like playing bass with John Mayer. Pino Palladino would be holding it down though, so I don't even know if I could play bass with John Mayer, but that would be cool. But those are all like crazy.
Yeah.
You got any, John?
I've never really like considered collaborating with artists, but like in terms of like a producer, like Will Yip produced like pretty much every record I love. I like realized that like a month ago because I went on his like Wikipedia profile and I was like, oh, this is like
Oh, my
whole music taste right here. So like working with him would be incredible.
And I know we've been talking about your drummer who was gone. He's out in exchange program in Japan, which is very cool.
Yeah.
Has it been challenging to find fill-in drummers to keep them, to perform with them?
So we got mainly two. We already have shows, like one show in Atlanta booked all the way through until he gets back already. So we already got everything locked in. But we're playing with our friend Ethan Voss from whatever she is, and then John Hatch from Midsummer Motel.
Mid-movie Friend Fight just hit its first anniversary yesterday. I personally love that song. That's how I discovered you guys, was through that song. Do you think your music has changed a lot compared to when you first put that out?
I don't think it's changed too much from that song. That song I think was a sort of step into our new sound. That was sort of like the first song of the band that are like more so on a solid sound. But it's always growing and progressing. Like our newest stuff is way different from the old stuff, and it's gotten a lot crazier.
Way harder to play. Super hard.
We've started doing a lot more stuff, especially on the stuff. We have a song, "Fine, I'll Flip the Benson," our newest creation. It's all the numbers, all the digits. But all the digits. I don't know where I'm going with this.
There's a lot of time. There's a lot of time signatures and a lot of like BPM changes.
Is it really?
Yeah, there's a lot going on with that one. Yeah. And it's also in drop D, and there's a random bar of 5 that he threw in there just to fuck with me.
James gets mad at me because I'll write something and I don't notice that it's fucked up. I'm like, this sounds good. And James is like, what the fuck? This is 7/4 and then a bar of 16 and then one bar of 2.
Yeah,
and it's in drop D.
It do be like that sometimes.
I'm like, I didn't even know, bro. My bad.
It really fucked with me because he showed it to me before the drummer, and I really couldn't figure out what was going on at the time. Because he just sounded like he would just randomly like stop halfway through a progression, like a bar. But it turns out it was just a random bar of 5.
A year at music school, and I still can't. I'm not good at explaining it. Like,
it's hard to explain.
I kind of understand, but like when it's my creation, it's just like that's how it works, man.
It's just how it be.
Is a lot of your guys' stuff like just spur of the moment kind of thing, or do you tend to, like we were talking about earlier, your drummer very structured and is good at creating that? Does it come out spur of the moment first and then like that?
Sometimes there's multiple rehearsals. Like sometimes I'll show a song to them and be like, okay, this exists, and they go like ponder it a little bit and like think about it. Mostly James, because I have to tell him like what key it's in. So usually when I show him, I like teach him it. But there's been times where James has just showed up to my house randomly, and I'm like, this song exists, and go think about it. And it'll just like think about it for a few days, and it'll like have a part. But usually when it's me and John, it'll be like 10 o'clock at night, and it'll be like, this is the song. Sometimes he would just show up with his acoustic guitar and be like, it is time for the song.
It is time.
It is time.
And I know earlier we were talking about AIMM and how you guys just finished up a year there. How has that helped, like, as a band?
I got good at using my pinky. I got yelled at a lot. They called the dude, Knight Driscoll there, the owner, made fun of us by calling us 4-finger death punch because we wouldn't use our 5th finger. which makes no sense to me because you don't use your thumb. So I feel like 3-finger death punch would be a little bit more insulting than 4-finger. But he called us 4-finger death punch. Every time he saw us in the halls, he'd just be like, 4-finger death punch. That's you. And we're like, yeah, that's me. It kind of worked. He like just bullied you into learning. So.
What about you? How do you think it helped?
Similarly, I was invoked in the same curse. He realized that we were in the same band and both had the similar issues, so we were the 4-finger death punch band. But yeah, I really, obviously the theory classes, they helped, but really what I think helped was all the like homework assignments and all the songs we had to learn. Was like pressure that I had to learn these songs and I had to always be playing, so I got a lot better just at like playing the instrument technically over the year period of being there. I think that was probably the biggest thing that I got from it. Also, I know how to like randomly play dad rock songs. So like if I'm in a guitar center, I don't have to randomly play Midwestino because no one wants to listen to that. I can play Carry On My Wayward Son. Everybody's like, fuck yeah.
We also know how to play Misery Business by Paramore. I really want to find a female singer and just bring them on stage for that one song at some point. I think it'd be really funny. I think we should do it when James is gone, just so he doesn't have to learn it. Get Ethan Voss on the Misery Business.
And speaking of your guys' like community that you've grown and you've created and you've joined in, who are some of your influences in the local Atlanta scene? Because I know you played Danger World, 1018, and like a lot of the bands that we've already interviewed, you know, like Estrella, Yearn.
In the old days, we were in Noonan, so we couldn't drive in Atlanta because I was like not used to that. There's this guy named Sammy Kapoor, and he has a playlist called the Kapoor House. In the early days, I just listened to that playlist, and he had Pinto Sunshine's Villains at the top. And that's like one of my favorite Atlanta songs. And we played with them at the Masquerade, so that was crazy. But Yearn is also dope. Couples Therapy is dope. Couples Therapy goes crazy. We're playing with Collective Karma. This is the part where I freak out. I'm trying to remember all my friends' bands, and like they're gonna call me out for not doing it. We played with Bummer Hill before, they're dope. I play with Midsummer right now. Also, our friend Jack Hamill was a singer-songwriter. He recorded our music in his basement. Like Dating Advice was in his basement in the early days. He has a great album called I Wrote This Album Because I Loved You. Great album. It's really good. You should listen to it. But there's a lot of bands. I also have a local artist playlist because I try to keep up with it because I wanted one for myself anyways, just because I want to be able to like support my friends' music. And I was like, oh, dude, I could post this on my band's Instagram. So that playlist on Spotify has like 175 followers right now, I think. There's a lot of good music. Like Atlanta is so big. Like sometimes it feels like I get overwhelmed with how much music there is. But it's great. I'd rather have too much than not enough. So.
What are your guys' goals like in the next few years as a band?
My goal always has just been consistent growth. Like I don't think we're going to be Taylor Swift or anything. But it's just, it takes a long time. But it's steady, if that makes sense. We played the Smith's Smith's open mic for like 5 months. Like we started in like April, like spring-ish, and then we played the Atlanta room for the first time in January. And then it took a full year, like a full January went, and then we got to play the upstairs room at Smith's last July. So each step took like a year, but it's still like consistent, you know? Right now I'm really trying to play out of state, trying to grow like kind of in a regional band, like kind of be like the emo band of the Southeast maybe. So that's the goal. And honestly, I just want to be able to have my music out so people can enjoy it. Because it's just cool, like when I'm going to be able to be a 50-year-old dad and be like, that's my band, son, and make them listen to it to the point they hate it.
What about you, John?
Man, for me, hopefully at some point, be able to make a living off of it. I want to go on a tour. Yeah, that's my goals. I don't really think about my goals too much. So right now I'm setting my goals.
Right now, he's making
I'd like to go on a tour, and if we get lucky, I'll make some money.
Also, Shaky Knees would be dope. I went to a music festival in Utah with my brother called Kilby Block Party. I saw the Backseat Lovers play Kilby Girl at Kilby Block Party.
That's insane.
And that was crazy. Like there were mountains in the background. Touring is just an excuse to travel the country.
It's true.
Like I think it was Jack from Hospitality told me that touring is just an excuse to go on a road trip and you just pay for your gas with the money you make.
Good one.
So that's really the goal.
Beautiful. Well, that's all the questions I had for you guys today. Thank you so much for coming out. It was